there, geeks, and welcome to another edition of Comic Card Crazy. We are continuing our Image Comics series, opening up packs of cards inspired by the Image founders. This is going to be fun because this time around we're talking about Jim Lee, and we're getting into his WildC.A.T.S, okay, in his Wildstorm universe. Now, what more can you say about Jim Lee that hasn't already been said? He's one of the most iconic comic book artists of all time. Of course, in the 90s, he was just a defining force. I will say that I was not on board with Image in the early days. It wasn't until he was doing some stuff later with Gen 13 and things like that. So when I think about Jim Lee, I'm thinking X-Men. I remember WildC.A.T.S, but mostly from covers and coverage in Wizard Magazine. Now, I'll say this is one that always kind of disappointed me. I felt like the least interesting characters were being highlighted on this cover, and yet just a few issues later, he gave us one of the most iconic Wizard covers ever. In fact, this is a fold out that I just find beautiful. Like, this is just awesome, you know? So it just kind of depends on the day, I think, with Jim Lee and what his design sense is for that moment. But WildC.A.T.S is one of those concepts that kind of may be better as a visual image. He is an artist after all. Then the actual storyline and everything he and Brandon Choi were coming up with in the early days, kind of hard to follow sometimes. A lot of lore and mythology, but made for great action figures, made for an interesting cartoon, even some a video game, you know, that maybe wasn't as popular as it could have been, but he definitely was able to leverage, you know, his success on X-Men into a lot of things. But that's why this time around we're going to be opening up a pack of WildC.A.T.S trading cards. They say WildC.A.T.S 94. Now, there were only 6 oversized cards in this pack, so I thought, just to be fair, let's dig into something else here. How about some Jim Lee SkyCaps, okay? Now, this is his Wildstorm universe POGs. You remember POGs? Yep. Hey, so I will tell you, I back in the day I had to reach for these. I always have them by this is my POG case. Okay, so I have my POGs and my slammers and everything inside there. And one of the earliest sets that I picked up of POGs were the Jim Lee POGs. For whatever reason, I knew his name. I wasn't buying his Image comics, but when I looked through those POGs, that introduced me into a ton of the characters from like Stormwatch and everything else. So I'm excited to get into a pack of those after all these years. But hey, let's open these up and see what's inside. So here we are with our pack of WildC.A.T.S 94 trading cards. Now, what's interesting about these is that Jim Lee actually did release a set through Topps, who are obviously very famous for their trading card sets, but by this point he had set up his own company. We get 6 chromium trading cards, but you see it's by Aegis Entertainment there. It does tell us that there were limited edition cards inside. There were double-sided cards, refractor cards, autograph cards, so who knows what we're going to find inside here. But these, again, are oversized cards. If you look at the dimensions here, and all chromium, I mean, this is a premium set, so I'm really excited to see what this is all about here. Just 1994, you know, it's not like the WildC.A.T.S had been around all that long before this point. Let's open this up here. Come on. Ooh, this is a high-quality pack, too. I mean, this one just does not want to come open. Oh, man. Come on, Jim. We need a Ripclaw to open this up for us, or get Warblade or whoever. There we go. Finally. Coming. We're just building the anticipation here. Okay, let's see what we got inside. Like I say, I wasn't reading, I wasn't a dedicated, you know, reader of WildC.A.T.S, so first off here, interesting. Okay, so we see the artist on this is Moy. I remember that name, but I don't remember what the first name is. It Jeff Moy? Let's find out here. It probably tells us on the other side. Yep, there we go. Jeff Moy. I was going to say, I know that rang a bell. So that's their interpretation of Voodoo, Jeff Moy and Carl Story. Okay, so let's get physical. Weight training is only a fraction of the rigorous exercise routine Voodoo has adopted since starting her Kona training under teammate Zealot. Oh, okay, so this is interesting. So this is actually kind of telling a story here that she's got to work out. Now, what's the point of that skull behind her? I couldn't tell you. But okay, starting out with Voodoo. Interesting. Oh, now check out this. So it's not just going to be individual pinups. We got some action going on here with, you know, Spartan being attacked by some guy. Let's find out who this is. Affiliation Cabal. His name's Hightower. Okay, so this is from the WildC.A.T.S Trilogy 3, which I believe, in this case, oh, hey, look, it's Val Samikishman. I've never been able to say this guy's last name on the podcast or here now. Maybe we'll have him someday and get to interview him. How do you say your name? Okay, but this is, I remember, Jim Lee, I'm pretty sure, was drawing the WildC.A.T.S trilogy, at least that first book, or the covers. So this is like a little battle situation here. The chromium looks pretty cool on his cybernetic arm there. All right, let's check out this next one. Okay, now my question here is this one of the guys from the Wetworks without his symbiote or somebody else? Nope. Jack Harakewicz, the soldier. I don't know how to say that one. I mean, that's a big one. Jutjod profile is just one minor detail that would compel an assailant to back off. His fighting prowess and battle skills, which were honed to a science by the 25 years he spent in the U.S. Army. Okay, I mean, we know Jim Lee loves anything militaristic, but I mean, this is by Paul Smith, who I know is a pretty famous artist, but I don't understand, like, who this character is to the WildC.A.T.S necessarily. Somebody who's a big fan is going to say, oh, you don't know about him? Maybe I don't. All right, what are we looking at here? Some type of orb, some type of, I don't know, ninja mummy? Who do we have? Gnome? Okay, interesting. Purveyor of secrets, barterer of knowledge. This was all Ali Fargum, the man known as Gnome, appeared to be when Hellspawn and the WildC.A.T.S clashed over control of one of the legendary orbs of power. Okay, so I was right. It was an orb. Okay, well, that's interesting they call him Gnome. Bobby Rubio and Chuck Gibson doing the art there. That's the only thing with these series is that, obviously, we see on these covers of Wizard, we have Jim Lee, but in this case, you're always getting all these other artists in his studio, right, that he's holding on to here. All right, so look, here's another character who obviously has some history. He's got all those skulls behind him, but don't know who this character is. Soma. Real name is unknown. Soma, a man of ghoulish unpredictability, appeared on the scene with the Thoughtweaver tapestry. Soma recently commanded the Troika, which he employed as mercenaries to fight and capture the WildC.A.T.S. Okay, so Norman Felch's doing the art here. But again, it seems like you want to just focus on the WildC.A.T.S. That's why everybody's picking this up. We don't necessarily need the history of the universe. But hey, if you're going to go out big here, here's a Zealot card. Looking pretty awesome there. Killing some Damonites, slashing them up. Got the swords. This might even be... Oh, this is Brett Booth art. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Terry Austin inking. No wonder. That's pretty impressive stuff there. Notice how different she looks in this version than what we're seeing there in the early days of Zealot. When she's working out, Zealot prefers this simple ensemble to her normal fighting togs. One recent mission, Zealot and Voodoo were training on a New York beach. Danger called. This is just hilarious to me. They're so focused on their training routines. Zealot's working out. Voodoo's working out. That's hilarious. Okay, so interesting cards. Not ones I was super familiar with the characters, but now let's get into this pack of SkyCaps here. So it says here, look for 5 special enhanced. What does that say? What is that word even? SkyCaps. Okay. Featuring all new original artwork by Jim Lee. Huh. So that's interesting that the roll pull of that was, hey, you get original art on your SkyCaps. So the odds of finding that are 5 in 36. Jim Lee SkyCaps Slammer. Oh. So, I mean, it feels like you could feel that. It replaces 2 SkyCaps. So maybe you would notice, maybe you wouldn't if it's in there. But you could probably move the caps around inside. You'd be able to figure that out. But, man, let's get into these POGs, okay? They couldn't call them POGs. They're Skybox SkyCaps, Well, let's check this out. It looks like we have even a checklist to work with, so that's pretty neat. Let's look at that first real quick here. So, I mean, that's quite a few in this set, and there we go with the little... Oh, so this is actually giving you the instructions on how to play. So, okay, put them in a stack, try to flip over as many of the SkyCaps as possible. I will admit, when I played this game as a kid, I didn't know about the gambling aspect, which made it notorious in schools. All right. Oh, there we go. So there's Union. right there. I know that, we've had some guests in the past that really thought Union was an awesome character. So Andrew Sahak, who's been on before, was a big Union fan. So that's cool. Oh, who do we have here? Wow. Does that... Oh, I think it's upside down. What am I looking at? What is this? I can't even read the name on this. Oh, Harm. Okay. Man, I mean, that's just a confusing design, at least out of context, like just cut into a circle. I'm just like, what am I looking at here? Let's see what's next. All right. We got Lynch. All right. John Lynch, I know very well from Gen 13, looking extremely dangerous right there. That's pretty cool. Let's see what else we got. Fuji. Yep, so I know Fuji is from Stormwatch. It has had some interesting dialogue in the comics themselves. Oh, check this out, Grifter. This is one of the discs that I got back in the day. So I had this particular SkyCap. I remember it well. But look, we did actually get one of the special... Oh, look at this right here, Emp. But is that an Homage Studios baseball cap he's wearing backwards? Wow, look at this. That is pretty cool, man. This is... So we actually got one of the special Jim Lee ones, I assume this is considered original art, or did he just draw a hat on an existing picture? But still, awesome! Finally got ourselves a chase cap here, if you will. All right, let's close this thing out. Okay, so I'll admit I was a little bit lost there. The Wildstorm universe, I know there's so much mythology there. Everybody seems to be connected. You got the Coda, you got the Daemonites, you got, all the underground military operations, all those things. Like I say, back in the day when I've tried to dip into the various titles, never quite connected for me. A little dense, and the militaristic nature of Jim Lee's creations doesn't always appeal to me. But as far as what cards appealed to me, I will say it has to be this Zealot card. Not only for the Brett Booth art, which I think is just awesome, but it's just like, it was the only character I felt like I could actually identify immediately. We're like, oh, Zealot. Okay, now I'm excited. I wonder how much the chrome really helps this set. It feels like the art itself is beautiful enough, and it may actually be kind of hampered by adding the chromium look to it. I don't know. Your mileage may vary, but I do have to say I was super excited to get one of these. That's just neat to actually have one of the Chase SkyCaps. I never expected to get one. It's not a slammer, but this is good enough for me. Emp with his homage baseball hat on. So there we go. We will be back again. I have so many more. We're going to cover all the Image launch titles in trading card form. Okay, so we are going to be back again looking at another set of these cards, so make sure you're subscribed here to the Wizards YouTube channel. Hey, if you know all the characters that I missed and what their mythology is, feel free to comment below. Of course, be sure to check out the other videos that we have here on the channel, whether it's a haul video, whether it's some of our older events and things that we've put on. We're actually gearing up to have another one of our fantasy draft superhero events with 90s comic book characters, so that will be fun. Anyway, just a lot to look forward here on the channel, and we hope that you will also connect with us on social media at Wizards Comics, or hey, make sure you're checking out the podcast and you're subscribed to Wizards, the Podcast Guide to Comics. A lot more fun to come in 2024. But hey, until next time, keep your books bagged and boarded.